Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. Today's video might be a little longer because I am going to go through the current state of my fixed blade collection. I made a post on Instagram and on YouTube and people seemed interested. So we're going to start out with the first fixed blade that I brought into my collection when I first started collecting knives. This is the CRKT Spew. Guys, it's a very value budget knife. I want to say it was about $30. It's got a micarta handle, and I want to say a 5CR little Warncliffe, super slicey, super sharp blade. Comes with a little lanyard. I can get a full 3.5 finger grip, and then my fourth finger fits really nicely on that back side of that handle. And that lanyard, and I'm not a lanyard lover, really does kind of help stable out the knife. But this was a little knife I picked up. I currently carry it as a neck knife, but I have put different types of straps to carry it on my belt. Don't carry it a whole lot now, but I do use it around the house. I keep it out because it is great for opening packages. But this was the first fixed blade in my collection. This what started me kind of down the rabbit hole. We had a video not too long ago, my quest for the perfect EDC carry. I think I might have found it, but I've still got some coming in that we'll have to check out. But this is just the state of the current fixed blade collection. So the first one that came into my collection was the CRKT Spew. After that, I was on Knife Center, and I was looking at some of their knives, both that they had in fixed blades and in traditional knives and in modern folding knives. And this knife struck me kind of as an overbuilt, heavier bushcrafting knife. It's called the Boker Farrakis. I think I'm pronouncing that right. It is a nice convex grind. It is, again, D2 steel, micarta handles, full tang, and a very, very heavy chopping, fire sticking, bushcrafting type of knife. It's heavier than I'd carry. It does come with this sheath that's pretty much a traditional belt carry knife, but when I go camping and I go hiking, I will have this or one of my other bigger knives with me. So this was the second one that came into the collection. The third one is going to be a quick view. It's this guy right here. But that guy right there, I've got, it's Smoky Mountain Knife Works on a doorbuster special, and it is my K-Bar kukri, and it is a knife or machete or kukri that I use when I'm camping, when I'm cleaning out the sites. I did put a lanyard on it. It's got a polymer handle, but it's just a good whacking, chopping, camping. I guess it's a fixed blade, right? But it was the third one that came into my collection. It stays in the closet or it stays in the truck, and then it goes with me when I'm out in the woods and I'm spending any amount of time out there. So after that, I was still looking for an EDC carry knife, and I'd been a fan of Mike Emler's for a long time. Love Crazy Sharp. Love you, Mike. Love your channel. But anyway, the Sea Snake was a knife that I knew he had designed. It was just a great value knife. I wouldn't call it a budget knife because nothing about this knife screams cheap to me. It's just very budget friendly. It's RPM, the AA RPM or whatever it's called, the steel that Artisan Cutlery and CAJRB use exclusively. It is G10 handle. Guys, this knife is under $40. You can find it at any retailer or you can find it on Amazon. And it is thin, it is slicey, it is ergonomically fantastic. It fits my hand, 4 fingers there. It's got a choil that's basically designed for your hand. Warncliffe blade. Just make easy work out of anything that you could use a small fixed blade knife for. I've got it mounted with an ulti-clip. I keep it in my pocket and carry it like a traditional pocket knife, or I'll keep it in my left pocket and carry it as a traditional, just regular folder, and then when I want to get it out, I can just deploy it. But that was the fourth one after the kukri that came into my collection. working off of what I like very much about Mike's Sea Snake, I had always kind of had an interest in the Essie knives. When Essie came out with this S35 VN blade steel SE3, it really got my attention. And then I ordered some micarta handles from Tops Knives, I want to say, because the handles that originally came with this Essie were a little thick for me. These are a little bit narrower, but they just feel great. The knife feels great. It's heavier than the Sea Snake. It is a mid-sized, I would say, fixed blade with a blade inch of, I want to say it's 3 and right at 4-inch blade, right at about a 4.5 inch, 4.25 inch handle. But this is a great little hiking knife, great little EDC camping knife. It's also a knife that I'll keep in my back pocket or in my pocket with an ulti clip. It's super slicey in the S35VN, and I really like this knife. So this is the SE3 and S35VN. And after that, I had been looking at line steel knives, and I'll be honest with you guys, I was looking at the M7 and I'd seen a video on it, but I really love what they do with their leatherwork and their sheaths. And this is the M5. It is in, I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but it is in a Schleppner steel, blade steel, which is a tool steel, and a wood handle. I forget the type of wood that this is. But this is a little bit larger knife and much heavier knife than the SE3. It is what I would consider a true camping knife, hunting knife, bushcrafting knife. Very, very sharp, very thick and crowned, full tang knife. Again, made out of the Schleppner steel. It's made in Italy, and it's by Lion Steel. And again, guys, it's a heavy knife, but it's a great camp knife. Again, the sheath has a lot of really good retention with the snap strap here, so it locks it in, and then you've got a good belt sheath right here. You can't carry it scout carry in this sheath, but this might be one that I get a custom sheath made for. But that is the Lion Steel M5, great knife, full-size heavy knife, has a lanyard hole here, glass breaker on the back. But this was right before I dove into the quest for the perfect EDC knife. So time went by and I didn't get fixed blades for a while. And then I was browsing, I'll say Blade HQ, even though I don't shop there anymore because they're crooks and they raised the price, in my opinion, on the Black Mirror prematurely while it was in stock just to increase their profit margin. But before that happened, I had seen that Flytanium had come out with micarta scales for their Minimalist series. I had had a bunch of Minimalists in the past, the Cleaver, the Drop Point, and I'd given them to a buddy because I wasn't carrying them much. And when I saw these Flytanium scales, I saw this really funky minimalist knife that when you look at other minimalist knives, this is a much larger blade. I want to say this blade is right at 3.5 inches. So even though it's a very small knife, and if you remember what I'm saying, the minimalists have the 3 little finger cutouts. The Flytanium allows you to remove those and give you a grip that'll still give you the purchase with the locking in your close finger, but it allows your other 4 fingers just to lay against it. And with the size of this blade, where most of them come up to right here, I just felt that this might be a little bit more usable knife. The downside of CRKT knives are their crappy sheaths. Their sheaths do retain okay, but they come with this crappy little belt loop. So if I want to carry it scout carry, I can carry it, but I have to run my belt through there. It doesn't fit the ulti clips. It doesn't fit. It will fit the mole straps, but they don't actually go through the rivet because the rivet's too narrow. But this is, I forget the name of this CRKT. But anyway, it's one of the minimalists. I want to say it's the Fultz design, which is the largest, with the Flytanium scales. Too funky of a blade design, and the sheath wasn't quite perfect. So I carry the knife, I cut with the knife, but it's not an EDC, and it's not going to be my daily number one in terms of fixed blades. Well, after that, I went to White Creek, and I found the small grain. And this here is, excuse me, not White Creek, White River. The White River small game with the black green micarta and the S35 VN blade. This knife is a small game prep knife. It's got a 3-inch blade, right around a 4¼ inch handle. Again, fantastic knife, fantastic ergos. I can get a lot of great grips on this knife. No jimping, it's clean, which is the way I would want a field dressing knife. Full tang. The sheath is high quality, but again, it leaves a little bit to be desired if you're looking to carry one scout carry or have a little bit more flexibility in your EDC carry. So I found today on White River's site, they've got a Kydex sheath kit made for this knife that gets you a Kydex sheath with a lot of different mounting options. So I'm going to revisit this knife when that comes in next week and see if I can't get this to be an EDC knife, because again, I love the way it cuts. I love the way it carries. It's not too small. It's not too big. It's really just a perfect size knife. I just don't like carrying knives during the day if I'm not out in the woods in a traditional sheath. This might also be one I send to, there are a couple of knives I'm going to send to Lancelot Leather and get some slip/sheaths made for, and this might be one of them. So this is the White River small game. I moved on from that, and this is when I'd seen Lefty's chickadee video, and I was hunting for a chickadee, but there were no chickadees to be had. And when the drops happened, I wasn't as aware as I should have been, and I missed out on them. But I was browsing White Mountain knives and came across a couple of really cool Tucsons. This is the Tucson TS150, which is one of their earlier fixed blade models. And it is a little bit smaller than the Chickadee, but it is a very small 3-finger S90V full tang killer little EDC fixed blade. To say I love this knife is an understatement. I think it's a fantastic knife. I put an Ulti-Clip 3.3 on it. It's got excellent retention, no rattle. I carry it either in my front pocket, front right pocket, carry it in my coin pocket, or I can carry it in my left or one of my back pockets. Just drop it down, get it affixed to the fabric, close it shut, and it pulls out with no effort. I don't even have to thumb pop it. But this one, very slicey. It is a Tucson. It is the TS150. It is S90V. And after I used the Lefty EDC discount code, this knife cost me $44.95. Fantastic deal on a fantastic tiny EDC knife. Well, after that, I had no longer checked out that I continued looking at fixed blade knives on White Mountain Knives and found this TS247. This TS247 was a little bit more expensive knife, has a little bit longer blade, just a little bit longer handle, but still everything about that small EDC knife that I'd been looking for in the Chickadee, with a little different blade shape, a little more belly, M390 blade steel, micarta handle. When I say this knife was a little bit more expensive, it was just a little bit more expensive. After using the Lefty's code, this one came in right about $10 more at $55. The sheath is the same story. It's very, very tight, great retention, no rattle. I put a strap on this one to carry it on my belt, and that's how I do carry it, scout style, just in the front. I love this knife. It's a great value if somebody's looking to see if they want to get into the Chickadee realm or the smaller USA made fixed blade realm. But this is a great little import that will definitely give you a taste of what it's like to carry a fixed blade every day and not notice that it's there, and realize how minimalist these little knives can feel. Well, after that, I had a little bit of a detour because I stayed on White Mountain Knives site and I found more fixed blades that I really, really liked. And it wasn't as much that I liked the the size, it was the way that they were packaged, they were presented, and they were merchandised to me. So this is the Viper knives, Voxnest designed, Lily 1 and Lily 2. The first one that I saw and bought and checked out with before I bought the second one was the sheep's foot design here. They come from Viper knives with this Kydex sheath, with the Ulti-Clip also already installed, so I knew it was set up to be carried the way I wanted to carry it, even though it's just a little bit bigger. Guys, when I got this knife in, the ergos are among some of the best that I've ever felt in a knife. This knife has jimping in all the right places. It is super, super bitey and slicey. It's Elmax steel. It's carbon fiber. The Arctic Ice is the variations I got. Gives me a full four-finger grip on the handle itself. And then both of these knives have a natural choil that allow you to really choke up and get access to that blade. I loved it so much that I went back and got the belly version, which again is the same handle profile, same Elmax blade stock. This has jimping in two places because when you choke up, it's just natural that your finger follows it up, unlike the sheep's foot. But I think this might be my favorite of the two. I started out with the sheep's foot because I love the blade design. This little knife here is pokey. It is slicey. It is a cardboard murderer. And it is, again, comes with a fantastic Kydex sheath that doesn't rattle, that comes from Viper knives with an Ulti-Clip already installed, ready to be carried, EDC'd, just like you would your folder. But two great fixed blades. And I'll tell you all another secret. I went to White Mountain Knives and bought both of these knives. And after using Lefty's code, I was glad to get these knives, but I have since found them on other retailers, GP Knives, DLT, and Knife Center, and they are considerably less expensive. These cost me, before discount, right at $200 each. I've found both of these for like $166 each. So they also make it in G10. They make them in regular carbon fiber, so they are priced from anywhere $200 for Elmax and Arctic carbon fiber down to $149 for Elmax and G10. But that is the Viper knives, Lily 1 and Lily 2. White Mountain Knives is killing me, guys. So I stayed on their site. I'm still looking for small, tiny knives, and I should have brought this in here because I also bought an accessory for this knife that is a sheath, but this is the MKM Micro 2. M-I-K-R-O, Micro, M-I-K-R-O 2. The one is more of a drop point where this is a sheep's foot. This is an absolute tiny little M390 and micarta knife that's designed to be basically a two-finger, three-finger knife. The jimping on the blade is amazing because it absolutely locks your hand in. It's a knife that you can carry as a neck knife. You can put a lanyard on it if you want to. It comes with this little leather sheath from MKM, which is really cool because there's a magnet on the back of it. There's a magnet on the front of it. So when I put this knife in the sheath, if I can keep it from magneting up on me, I can either rotate that, have that stick over to the blade to make retention for it. I can rotate it, have it hook up on the back and run my belt through it. I can rotate it sideways and scout carry it. But instead of doing that, because I do love the sheath and I love to put it in my fifth pocket just like this, my coin pocket, or drop it in my jeans like this. I don't like neck knives. But they came out with a little Kydex sheath option that is a Kydex sheath, all the Ulti-Clips to mount it, and I've got that set up also with a little sheath that lets me carry this knife just like I carry this knife. But this is the MKM Micro 2. And we will have an unboxing hopefully next week of something this knife has led me to grab. Its bigger brother. But that was a knife that I picked up about 3 weeks ago, before I had the deal of the day be presented to me by one of the coolest humans in the knife community that I communicate with, who's done something kind for me several times, and I owe him many acts of kindness. But that is our friend Honeybear85. He saw that I'd been hunting for my Instagram posts for the Chickadee replacement knife, the perfect Chickadee carry knife. And he just happened to have a Chickadee that he was willing to part with. And he'd gotten it on the secondary, and he'd gotten it for a fair price. And instead of charging me what these bring all day long, he sold it to me for the same price that he got it for. And I thank you for that, Honey Bear. I thank you not just for that, but for making this knife available to me at really any price. Like I said, I've missed a couple of drops. This one, I don't know which version it is. I know it's S90V and Tan G10. It is USA made. It also has a Kydex sheath that I carry, belt strap. But Honey Bear also had the optional Oak City Leather Works, or Oak City Leather makes these custom sheaths for the Chickadee. And I think this thing is just awesome, because 9 times out of 10, this is how I carry the knife. I put it in the sheath. It goes in my left pocket, which is not my primary pocket. I just drop it in, clip it in, and I find myself pulling this out to make the small cuts more so than I do my folder. So this knife is the knife that was my mini fixed blade grail. I hope I don't go off the deep end and start collecting these, but it is possible, because the knives are not only awesome, they're super charming, and they're very functional. So that is the Jacob Creates Chickadee in S90V, made in the USA, with an Oak City Leather custom sheath/slip. The most recent and last knife of the video that's come into my collection via my good friend Kev, aka Lefty EDC, aka the brains behind Evo Knives, he sent out this Baltic Blades scalpel for me to check out. And guys, I think this knife is killer. When it came to me, Kev did not have the strap on it. I added that little strap because I found that I can hook this to the front of my belt, canter it just a little bit. This knife weighs nothing. It is very thin. It is extremely sharp. I can just put this on the strop from time to time, and it brings the edge back. It's tool steel, made by Baltic Blades in this young man's garage. When he saw that I posted on Instagram, he reached out, thanked me for posting it, talked about asking me what I thought about it, if I liked it, what I would do differently, told me that it was just him, not just making them in his garage, but packaging them, putting everything together, shipping them out. So I immediately started following him on Instagram and have been looking at some of the other things that he does. But Kevin put this one in my hands to check out, and Kevin, I appreciate that. I love it, and I've been carrying it. Fits in the hand great. Doesn't have jimping, but doesn't need it. And guys, this will get into packages like nobody's business. It's also a splinter remover, super slicey, super pokey, super self-defensey if you needed it for something like that. I prefer poo-poos, but that's here nor there nor the other. But that is the Baltic Blades, and it's got a name to it, and I'll put it in the description maybe, but I forgot what the actual name of it's called. But I will put it in the description. But it is Baltic Blades. It is fantastic. It's the last fixed blade in this video and the last fixed blade in my current collection. But I can tell you guys, I did not think that I would get is enthralled with fixed blades and different fixed blades. And I've already bumped into a little SCI soldonite that I did not know was available. And I might go down a little bit of a fixed blade rabbit hole as I continue to collect knives. Guys, please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Thank you all for coming by the channel. If you stayed this long, mad props. Probably my longest video, but I wanted to run through these knives. Somebody said that they thought it'd be interesting. Look out for one another, guys. Choose love. Choose debate over hate. I love you all. Peace.